I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. I thought how as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolve from night to day. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. That's a beautiful carol, isn't it? Isabella Roche sang it last night at the 4:00 service as part of the offertory. I didn't know she was going to be singing that, and I came up to her afterwards and I was like, should have had you there tomorrow morning. That's what my sermon's about. It's a beautiful, beautiful carol. It was written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. You may know him, famous for other things, right? But he didn't write these words from a place of sentimentality. He wrote them in grief. You see, his wife had died in a tragic fire, and his son had been gravely wounded in the American Civil War. The nation itself was tearing apart. Sound familiar? And yet, he heard the bells. Not angels, not a heavenly choir, bells. Old, familiar bells, ordinary instruments rung by human hands, sounding across a broken world. This morning, Christmas morning, we gather not because the world has suddenly become gentle or just or peaceful. Oh, that it would be. We gather because, like Longfellow, we have heard something, a sound that refuses to be silenced, a truth that will not stay buried. I thought how as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. This is the song of Christmas. Luke tells us the angels sang it first, but by the time it reaches us, it is carried not by angels, but by bells, by breath, by bodies gathered in churches like this one. The song is older than our grief and stronger than our fear. And yet, if we're honest, we deeply feel the next verse. And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. That line feels painfully contemporary. Hate is loud. Violence is relentless. Truth feels fragile. Even joy can feel irresponsible in a world like this, right? We come to Christmas carrying loss, exhaustion, cynicism, and unanswered prayers. Some of us arrive brimming with gratitude, and some of us arrive barely holding it together. I'd venture to say that most of us arrive with a little bit of both, yes? And Christmas does not deny any of that. All those are true and honest feelings. The gospel does not say all was calm. That's a carol, right? It's not in the gospel. It doesn't say that the world was ready. No, it says there was no room in the inn. It says that Mary wrapped her newborn in strips of cloth and laid him to sleep in a stone feeding trough. It says that Herod trembled and that the shepherds were terrified. Nice and peaceful, right? Christmas happens not when the world is at peace, but when God chooses to enter it anyway. And then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. This is the turning point for Longfellow and for ourselves. Not because the war ended, not because grief vanished, but because despair does not get the last word. Oh, let me say that again. Despair does not get the last word, ever. The bells ring louder. God is not dead. God is not distant. God is not indifferent. The bells ring because God is born. Born not into power, but into vulnerability. Not into certainty, but into trust. Not into safety, but love. In Jesus, God refuses to remain an idea or a principle or a memory. God becomes a child, breathing our air, crying our tears, sharing our skin. I brought my own this morning, just as reference. Babies aren't all calm and quiet, are they? She's 9 months old. I know all too well that babies are not calm and quiet all the time. And that's what God becomes. Not this peaceful porcelain doll, right? But real, breathing, heart beating, blood pumping, pink flesh with all the rolls you could eat, right? That's Jesus. That's God incarnate. Rabbi Abraham Heschel once wrote, God is in search of humanity. Now, Christmas is God coming just close enough to be found, to be felt, to be heard. And what does that mean for us here at St. Martin's, in this town shaped by history and power and contradiction and hope? It means that the bells are not just something that we hear, they are something that we become, something that we embody, something that we incarnate. Every time we choose compassion over contempt, the bells ring out. Every time we practice hospitality in a culture of exclusion, the bells ring out. Every time we tell the truth when lies so strongly persist, the bells ring out. Every time we forgive, feed, welcome, and love, The bells do what? The bells ring when we refuse despair. The incarnation is not about escaping the world, but about God committing to it fully. Christmas does not promise that everything will be okay. Far from it. It promises that God is with us even when it's not okay. That's the good news. The bells ring not because peace has arrived, but because the Prince of Peace now dwells among us. There is hope for that. And that in itself is enough to keep singing. That is enough for the bells to keep pealing. So this morning, whether your heart is full or frayed, whether your faith feels strong or thin as a thread, I encourage you to listen. Listen for the bells. They ring in bread and wine. They ring in familiar carols. They ring in children's laughter and quiet tears. Or in children's nya, 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 nya. They ring in the gathered body of Christ. The bells ring to remind us God is not dead. God is not asleep. The wrong shall fail. The right prevail. With peace on earth and goodwill to men. Merry Christmas.
Merry